Hi guys, Lee here from Trading College with your weekly look at the financial markets. Okay, so let's start with the Nasdaq here. You can see that this has been on a absolute monster trend to the upside. Bit of a deeper correction that we had last few weeks, and we come all the way down to support, which is around that 12,700 area, and we've literally just bounced from there. So I think the Nasdaq is at a crucial area here. We've got what we call a trend predictor, which is a red arrow, just saying that today could be a down day, and we're certainly seeing it down today on the stock market indexes across the board in the European session here. So it really is a decision day whether we can actually sell off even further, because what I want to show you here on the Nasdaq, if we go to the monthly chart, okay, we've had an incredible move higher. This trend has just been vertical. We are very, very extended on our storyteller indicator. We are quite a long way away from the 8-period moving average. And more importantly, we've got these wicks on the candlestick. Now, of course, February closed with this high wick. It looks a little bit like a shooting star candlestick, which comes at the end of a trend. I think I mentioned that a few weeks ago that we could see that. We haven't quite got the perfect shooting star. We'd like to see the body much lower down on the wick, the lower end of the wick. But it is telling us that last month that the sellers came in and rejected those highs. So the question is now, as we go down to our daily time frame, is this a wave 1 down, 2, and then we're going to see more downside? I think it is. So if we break below tomorrow's low, yesterday's low I should say, maybe tomorrow, then I think we could see much more of a bigger sell-off. Now, that will all change if we get some green going on here and we start breaking above these highs, these all-time highs, and get into like the 14,000 area. So it's a key couple of days here, guys. The likes of the some of the tech stocks that I looked at last night at Scan Club, were starting to show a little bit of weakness, and with the Nasdaq here, we could see a potential down move coming. It is certainly needed. Let's take a look at next on the list is the euro dollar. Now, euro dollar it all started on the euro dollar from the weekly chart. We had this two wave. Okay, so high, lower high on price, push this market down further. So we got the setup on the bigger time frame, and then really it was all about getting the entry on the daily, and I've been in this a couple of times on the way down here. So we had a sell signal again. It went from green to red, which was our short signal, and then we've come all the way down to 119.77. Our next target is 117.97. So we're at a bit of support here, but the euro is certainly showing weakness. We've been looking for shorts all the way along here, not really looking for long side trades because of that two wave on the weekly. So we could see further downside here on the euro, especially against the US dollar. And gold, because of the dollar strength, we've seen gold come under major pressure with red PTSs, red short signals here, and our last one here was at 17.75 all the way down to 17.31 profit target made, which was a nice trade. And I think there's a lot of comparisons with the Nasdaq as there is with gold. If you look at the monthly on the gold market, and you look at the momentum indicator down below, the very lowest indicator here, look how high it was when we started to see that correction at 2,000 on gold. So when markets go parabolic like that, it's not a great. I tend to stand aside, just as I am doing in the moment at the moment with individual stocks in the leveraged account, because I just want to see things settle. And I think we're just overextended in the stock market, and I think with gold we're overextended, and we certainly got that sell-off to the downside, which has played out nicely with all these profits as it's made lower lows and lower highs. So that's been a pretty good move. Now, there's one market I think might well have a little bit of a bounce back here. I'm not saying a major trend change, but if we look at the euro sterling, it's had an incredible move. This was one of our blue whale trades, and we always like to go up to that monthly time frame just to see, where things are going on our pro trading systems and colors. And you know, we had this situation on the euro versus the Great British Pound where we were making lower highs, but the prices stayed up at the highs. And then we got the red PTS sell signal back in January on the monthly chart. Remember those monthlies? They are fantastic for trades that you can stay in for several months. And then we got the sell signal confirmed on the daily, and we pushed down very nicely indeed. Now I think we're just due a bit of a bounce back up to at least the 87 mark on euro versus the Great British Pound. And if we take a little look at this on the weekly, you know, we're sort of in that area where we could get a little bit of a bounce. We're certainly at an area where, you know, it's probably moved the same amount of pips as maybe something like this here and maybe something like this here, so projected down here. So I'm just looking for just a little bit of a kickback rally, and that's the sort of trade I'm looking for this sort of next coming couple of days. And euro yen has been one of those markets that's, you know, I've got my eye on this euro yen as well, because I think if the stock markets do start to roll over, because we're starting to see a little bit of weakness in the key indexes like the Nasdaq, the yen currency will start to strengthen. And I look at the euro yen as we make a three-wave high. And it may have already played out, but normally the target is back to the breakout area. So we've got another 100 odd pips, and I think we could see maybe a little bit of a correction on this market. So it's a little bit of a mishmash this week. Euro against the Great British Pound, maybe a little bit of a 50-point rally, and I think then the euro versus the euro versus the yen could come under pressure. We haven't quite got the red PTS. I want to see a red pro trading system to really start to short that with any decent position size. And that's about it, guys, really, as I look across the board. One market that we are certainly looking at again here is the Aussie versus the New Zealand dollar. I'm also looking at the pound versus the New Zealand dollar. Those are our blue whale trades, our big trades. But if you look at the Aussie versus the New Zealand dollar, Aussie's been such a strong currency. We were doing this last night in Scan Club. You can see that we've got this symmetrical triangle on the monthly chart. Now we're pretty much, you know, getting to the apex, so we could break higher. We could break out of this area. And if we turn green on the pro trading system on the daily, then I'm going to be going long this market, because I think this is a great big rounded bottom. And I think we could start to see a breakout of the Aussie New Zealand, and that will be a buy and hold that for a decent amount of time. And of course, it's the pound New Zealand as well. We may see that resume its up move. All right, guys, hope it helps. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up. I'm going to be doing this every single week for you, normally on a Monday. Unfortunately, this one's on Tuesday, just so busy on Monday. And so I look forward to speaking to you next Monday.